Hey y'all, today we're here to talk about how not getting enough attention leads to body image issues. So, the very short story here is that a lot of people have a chronically unmet need for attention, which sometimes also called like the attention tank. Their attention tank is chronically low. Sometimes this is because they didn't get enough attention in childhood or they had some other form of neglect somewhere. Sometimes it's because they're struggling with connections or in a relationship that makes them feel isolated. There's so many reasons that a person might not get their attention tank properly filled. But when that happens, they often are just struggling with a feeling of needing or wanting more attention in order to properly thrive. Unfortunately, in our culture, we have a real stigma and negative attachment to particularly women who want attention. So there's a lot of judgment around the idea. There's a sort of pathologizing of women who need attention, despite the fact that all people of all genders are wired to need attention. It's part of how we are wired. There is this negative stigma attached to women who want attention. We think of it as like, oh, she's just seeking attention, like she's manipulating people to get attention, when, yeah, okay, I mean, it's okay to want attention, but that's not what we're taught. And so a lot of us, either from childhood or from relationships in which we felt like we were a burden on somebody, or any time that we were called needy or greedy or selfish or mean for wanting attention or taking up somebody's time in order to focus on our needs, all of this stuff leads to a lot of women, unfortunately, just learning to do without attention. Learning that the best possible way they can be is completely needless and never needing attention. So what happens is we end up with a whole bunch of people, especially women, walking around with chronically unmet needs for attention, a chronically low attention tank, who are taught that it's very bad, greedy, selfish, mean, whatever, needy for them to ask for that attention. And so there is this feeling that they are disempowered from getting what they want or what they need. But then they look around, and in our culture, some women, obviously, get a lot of attention. And those are women who fit certain conventional beauty ideals. And they get a lot of attention for how they look. And so what happens, without even realizing it, most of the time this is completely below the level of consciousness, is the person with the unmet need and that empty tank for attention sees that, lives in this world, looks around, and goes, all right, I'll get attention that way. And then they become fixated, often obsessed with changing the way that they look so that they can have that conventional beauty ideal look, at least enough that people will pay attention to them, give them the attention that they are so craving, so needing in order to thrive. And that is how this shifts over into an obsession and a hatred of how they look. Because obviously, most people can't look like that ideal. And so there's a lot of resentment towards the ways in which we fall short of that ideal. Because obviously most people can't actually achieve that ideal, and so they start to form hatred and resentment and negativity towards the ways they fall short of that ideal. You know, they start to really get mad at their body's imperfections and flaws and these things that become obsessive. And now we're looking at really negative body image, when in fact what was supposed to happen, where this came from, was just a desire for more attention. Now, it's important to note that even people who succeed at fitting this ideal, and they get all the attention, and people praise them and celebrate them, and everybody looks at them, and it's this whole thing, it still kind of falls flat. Because being praised for how you look is not exactly the kind of attention that we are wired to want. It's sort of hollow. We want to be seen. Every person on this planet wants to be seen. We are craving real connection and really being seen and attended to in a way that is meaningful. And being seen and attended to because of how we look is not generally meaningful. It usually falls flat, it feels hollow, it feels objectifying, sometimes it feels gross and unwanted. It just doesn't do what we're hoping it will do because it can't. Because it's not the kind of attention we deeply, deeply want. And for the people who do enjoy it, sometimes people will get there. They'll, either because they're genetically able to get there or because they scrounge their way there one way or another, they get there and they go, I love this. This feels great. I get all this attention and it's wonderful. But what happens then is they become panicked and obsessed with losing their looks. They become panicked about gaining weight or getting older, or going through body changes one way or another. They become obsessed with the rituals or the routines or the control of how they look in their bodies that got them to this place where they are getting attention, because that feels like the difference between life and death. Because at that point, their needs are only being met because they're working so hard, and it starts to feel like a trap. Like they have to work that hard forever. And also, as they age or, they go through bodily changes, they're not going to get to keep that. And so there becomes this really, really scary feeling for people who succeed and enjoy being at this sort of conventional beauty ideal and getting the attention that they so deeply crave. Now, if this resonates with you, it is probably going to be an important part of your body neutrality journey to figure out how to build up the skill of getting your needs for attention met. Filling your attention tank is a skill. It is not something you just get done by looking hot enough. No matter what you've been taught, no matter what you see when you look around, it is a skill. And learning to fill it in ways that are meaningful to you and sustainable for you is an important part of overcoming your body image issues because it separates your getting your needs met, basically, from how you look. If you're new to this skill and you're looking for ways to, in a healthy, sustainable way, get your needs for attention met, here are some examples. Obviously, every person is different, and not each example will resonate or be possible or even particularly meaningful to you. But explore this and see what works for you to feel like your attention tank is full. You could take an improv or an acting class. You could make videos of yourself singing or dancing or reading poetry or playing an instrument. You could post them on the internet or share them with friends. You could start a blog. You could join Toastmasters. You could start telling the people in your life and who you have relationships with that you are looking for the kind of attention that you want. Really learn to communicate with them how you want to be attended to, what that looks like, and asking for what you need. You could start cultivating high attention relationships from the start, meaning if you're dating, don't date somebody who's looking for a low attention partner or a low maintenance partner. Only join up in your life with other people who are willing to give you the kind of attention you're looking for. There are so many ways you can do this. You can absolutely put yourself out there in a way that is meaningful to you, that feels really good, that people will give you the kind of attention that you're craving, and that will fill that tank in a healthy, sustainable way. And this is just a jumping off point, but start thinking about it and see what works for you. You can, of course, also hire a therapist or a coach or somebody whose job it is to pay attention to you and listen to you and really hold space for you. And you can just start speaking up more in places, in classes, on projects, at work, with your friend group, in your relationship. Anywhere that you can start speaking up is also a great place to start getting that kind of attention and taking up that space. I'm going to give you a way to do that right now. Leave a comment below, sharing whatever way makes you feel like you're getting attention in a healthy, sustainable way outside of how you look. I want everybody to be able to read all the suggestions and all the different ways that can look, and we'll be able to have a discussion there. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching.